In Abuja today, the family of late Keren Abaga, who died controversially in her school, Premier Academy, Lugbe, Abuja, celebrated her memory through a foundation in her name. The foundation organized an awareness campaign to sensitize the Nigerian public, particularly the teeming young girls and boys, of the red flags that can lead to sexual abuses, a circumstance that led to the death of the 14-year-old in her school. Speaking to the press, the convener and mother of the deceased, Ms. Vivian Abaga, said invited public schools are here to debate raising awareness against rape and sexual abuses.
Because of mental illness, mental deficiency, intoxication, unconsciousness or deception with threat of death if disclosure is made. Males are also victims of rape, but the major focus of the Nigerian society and the world at large is that of the female child. Anytime a rape case is mentioned, people attest it to the fact of indecent dressing, but this is not always the case, as little girls that are being raped may not be indecently dressed, but they are still the victims.
Rape is a devilish and deadly act that non-entities find pleasure and favor in, thereby exposing the victim to various side effects like sexually transmitted infections like gonorrhea, hepatitis B, sepsis, to mention a few, mental instability, health conditions, and psychological effects. Women and children are mostly involved in this act.
It's important that we inculcate age-appropriate sex education into the school curriculum so that children are educated. It doesn't make them lose their innocence at all, no, but it will help them to be able to identify red flags. It will help them identify things to guard against, things to run away from, and it will encourage them on when they need to speak up, on what they need to speak up about. You know, issues around even something as little as body autonomy is not something children are ordinarily aware of unless an appropriate education happens in that instance. So since almost all our children are in schools, after all, one of the basic rights of the child is right to education, and government provides free education at that, primary and early secondary level. So what it means is that knowing that our children are likely to be in school, it is one sure place where they can get this education. So there is need for us to inculcate age-appropriate sex education into the school curriculum so that we better equip our children and better protect them.
Keren, who was my daughter, died from as a result of complications from rape, and clearly the Nigerian society is pushed about rape and does not really support rape victims. So in order to arrest this menace and then see to it that children who are basically the victims of this are able to speak out and talk about it when it happens to them. This inadvertently will help arrest this and make our society a saner society. Well, firstly, the ministry in charge of giving approvals for people to cite school or to run schools must be careful of who these approvals are issued to, because most of the private schools we find today are being run for the return on their investment. It's not really a passion to see that children are educated, it's to see that I get a good return on my investment. So they're not really particular about stopping such things in school. Rather, they will want to close it up so that the name of the school is not maligned or something. So first, if the government would investigate people that are seeking for approvals to cite school before these approvals are issued, and then a proper consequent management should be put in place to ensure that perpetrators are punished. I think this too will greatly affect or help alleviate what we face today.
Naturally, you have listened to some of the speakers. Some of the speakers drawn from Abuja public schools, and you've seen that already by inviting them to speak on this topic. They have gone to do a lot of research and they are more knowledgeable. So you are empowering them in doing that. Before they came to selecting 3 to represent them, perhaps maybe 20, 30 had participated in the process. and that means that more people have knowledge. The children, the students are empowered with knowledge, and they are empowered not just with knowledge, they are empowered with the voice to be able to speak out in case there is a threat to them or in case there is an abuse that has occurred. So yeah, this has a far-reaching consequence. The essence of putting this together, as you would know, is in loving memory of Keren Ondodo Akpa, who of course died 2 years today, exactly 2 years today, following medical complications arising from her being raped. Condom left inside of her. The condom infected her with sepsis. Sepsis spiked her blood sugar, compromised her immunity, spiked her blood sugar, and she ended up dying. So this was a child of 14 years old. Government has failed in all sense. Government failed in protecting her. Government is failing in making sure she gets justice. So this event is for two reasons. One, to call attention to the world, to government, to the people, that the justice for Keren that we seek is still elusive because government and agencies of government, including the police, have failed us in one breath. Then two, in order, because we know Keren was a very kind-hearted child who would not want the fate that befell her to befall any other child, we decided to create an avenue like this that will help build knowledge base of children. They can identify would-be perpetrators, would-be pedophiles from afar, and know how to raise their voices and raise alarm to it. So two ways to immortalize her is to ensure that it never happens to any other child, and this is part of the process.
Mohammed Jinadu, Voice TV Nigeria.